Let's look at a type of scanning called a ping sweep. Now hopefully you've all had some experience using the ping tool from the command line. Ping from the command line actually issues a packet containing an echo request that's sent to the target machine, and if we receive a echo reply, we know that that machine is up and running. For sure, if we don't receive a reply, it may be that something is blocking the ping reply. Could be even the machine itself. Could be an intervening router. As a matter of fact, from a defensive standpoint, it's a good thing to turn off the response to echo request. But let's look at how you do this, and the reason an attacker is interested in this is that there's really no sense in attacking a machine that's not running. So if you look at the hierarchy of attacks, you have scripts which basically run through the entire IP range, trying every machine. This is rather inefficient, but considering the the expertise of the people who usually run scripts, that's about all they can hope for. If you're looking at a worm, we had a handout about how worms scan for targets. Again, it's not terribly sophisticated. But what we're talking about here is when an attacker sets out to find targets of interest in a network, and then the acquisition of the target, or the discovery of the target through scanning, is the first step. We have to identify our target, and then we're going to try to learn some more things about each particular target, with the idea that we're going to launch a very targeted attack against the target. I know it's using target in a lot of different ways, but that's what we're trying to do. So it's higher up on the scale of sophistication than a simple script attack. So let's look at doing a ping sweep. Now we could certainly do this from the command line. We could ping, and you'll notice here we're sitting on the 192.168.157 network. If we ping the .1 machine, we get a reply. The .1 machine on this network is actually the default gateway. So it's up and running. So we could actually go through this one at a time. We could try 2, and there's the machine answers to 157.2. We could try 3. Don't seem to be getting a reply on 3. And I'll go on and press Control and the letter C to kill that. So we could do this. We could actually write a batch file here and kind of automate this process. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at this, there are tools out there that help you with this process. On the desktop of your remote server here, you'll find a shortcut to something called Scanner. It's actually something called SuperScan. This is version 3. This was written by some folks at a place called Foundstone. They've since been acquired by somebody, and I can't remember right off who bought them. Microsoft might have. This is version 3. There's actually a version 4. I personally like version 3 better, so I've kind of kept a copy around for us all to use. So what this does, this is going to automate the ping process for us. So right in here, I've already entered this. This is where you're going to put your start IP, and I want to scan the entire 192.168.157 network. So I'm going to start at 1, and I'm going to go to 254. 255 is the broadcast address. So we don't need to do that in this case. Over here, you want to, for our purposes, we're going to start out with ping only. We'll use some of these options down here on the ports later on. This is also very interesting from an attacker's standpoint. But initially, we're going to just worry about the seeing which machines are actually up and running. So I've selected ping only. I've put in my start and stop IP numbers. And I'm going to go over here to the right hand side and click on start. Now every IP number here with a check mark is from a machine that's up and running and answering ping requests. And as you can see, there's several computers that are on the 157 network. And there are several that aren't. Now, again, this is a internal network in my lab. So we've discovered here there's 37 different hosts that answered. Now, just as an aside, I don't really have 37 computers. I've got several of these that answered here are actually virtual machines, but they're still serving the purpose of a computer and can be compromised if they aren't patched properly. So we got 37 hosts on this network. So using SuperScan, let's review what we've actually accomplished here. We have a tool here called SuperScan, which automates this process of doing a ping sweep. And we give it a start IP number and ending IP number, and the machine, the tool SuperScan generates the packets, sends them out on the network, and then listens for the reply and shows us where the corresponding IP numbers for the replies. So it's automating the process for us. Now, from an attacker standpoint, at this point, I would be looking here and I would say, okay, somebody, there's a computer live at, like, for example, 157.21. What else can I find out about the 157.21 machine that might make it of interest to me? So that's the next step, and it's for another type of scanning. But initially, we want to do a ping sweep. In a lot of cases, to discover what is up and running and could be a potential target. And from an attacker standpoint, look here at 157.18. There's no computer that answered at 157.18. That doesn't mean there's not a computer with that IP number. It just means it's not answering. But still, I would probably tend to ignore that IP number. At least initially, if I didn't know anything else about the network. The fact that I received replies from some computers and not others kind of indicates to me that there's no filtering router between me and this network. And we'll look at that concept a little bit later. So the whole point of a ping sweep is to discover the machines that are turned on the network and functioning on the network, and then we'll go from there to discover other things about these particular machines in order to refine our attack.